Today we're going to do something very creative. We're going to start with a very basic kick, and I have no idea what we're going to end up with, but at some point it's probably going to sound something like this. And if that's not the case, it might probably sound like this. Anyway, let's just go straight to it. Let's start off with absolutely nothing, and I'm gonna do my best to focus on the most basic plugins so everyone can follow it and you don't have to buy too many plugins, right? All right, let's go straight into it. FL Studio, Serum, let's go. All right, welcome to the project. We're gonna start off very basic, and what better way to do that by opening up Serum 2 and create a very basic kick. Just like a club kick, if you will, because that's going to be the foundation of the next kick, which is going to be a Gabber kick. All right, Serum 2. We're going to work with, I would say, only a sub oscillator. You can do multiple oscillators. I just think one oscillator is enough. Okay, we're going to choose a key. I'm going to work in E. Why? I don't know. Just because I feel like it. And I'm my own boss, so let's go E, E, E. Let's start with 170 BPM. Okay, so this is a flat wall of bass, if you will. Nothing much going on. So you need to tell Serum, hey, I want a little bit of a pitch, a little bit of kick to it, kick to the kick. So the way you do that is draw out a pitch automation. You tell Serum, hey, I want it to pitch up really fast and then down. That creates that kick. So we're going to do that by, well, we can do it by the coarse pitch, but I usually just do global tuning, so that means all the oscillators are pitched together. If you're making more complicated kicks that consist of more than one layer, like a hardcore kick or an uptempo kick, well, bounce uptempo is usually just one layer. But let's say a hardcore kick where it needs a little bit more reversed bass, you're working with multiple oscillators. So global tuning is my preference because then you don't have to link all of them to one LFO. Okay, so LFO to the matrix. LFO 1 goes to the global tuning, main tuning. But so by default, it's not going to do anything because it's not, the amount is off. So I'm going to draw it out really quick. Let's turn off the speakers. Oh no, my good luck lamp is not on. Yeah, best purchase of TeamU ever. All right, so let's put this on a envelope. I don't want it to be different every time the kick hits. Okay. Okay. Congratulations, you made your first club kick. You can just sustain if you want, if you think that's too long. You can do it like this, you can do it like this, whatever you want. So this is the first step of any kick, I would say. Okay, let's go to step 2. This is a little bit boring, right? So we could do everything in Serum 2, but I'm choosing to do it in the FX chain. Why? Well, I'm glad you're asking. The reason for that is I do believe that you can achieve a lot with Serum 2. For example, I have a lot of these are straight out of Serum without any FX on the chain, so it's possible. I just feel like the flexibility of the EQ, specifically the EQ on the chain, so Fab Filter versus Serum 2, huge difference. So stepping away a little bit from Serum 2, it was also, I'm not gonna lie, a little bit of showcasing to see what I can do with Serum 2 and what Serum can do with only the FX. So we're gonna step away from that a little bit and just work with this. All right, Gabber kick. What is a Gabber kick? A Gabber kick Gabber is usually some frequencies boosted from the club kick. And you have to tweak around a little bit like everything else in music production. Tweak around a little bit until it sounds right. All right, so a little bit of boost, a little bit maybe here. Just try around, fuck around to find out. And the wave shaper for the magic distortion. All right. I would say the Gabber kick needs a little less decay. Something like that, yeah. Okay. Maybe a little more wave shaper. Alright, that's really loud. Turn it down. Right, maybe another EQ boost somewhere. Or we can do a little fast distortion. Or any other distortion you like. Okay, turn it down a little bit. Okay, now let's try to find another EQ boost that can sound really cool. This creates a little bit more punch to it. Okay, I'm gonna add another EQ boost somewhere. Very thin threshold of too much distortion or too little. Okay, that's better. Now we're almost in the Millennium hardcore, the old school hardcore. Like that boominess gone. I mean, not bad. And with this frequency right here, you can adjust the peak. Maybe a little bit shorter. Yeah, something like that. I think it's a pretty cool Gabber kick. You can adjust the peak as you will. So it's all about, kick creation is all about finding the right frequencies, cranking it up, distorting, removing frequencies to make more room for other frequencies to pop through. It's a cat and mouse game of adjusting the frequencies and removing frequencies. Okay, pretty cool Gabber kick, I would say. You can make it long. All right, I think this is a good transition to go to a more old school kind of kick, like very old school hardcore. All right, what can we do? Well, first of all, let's make the decay longer. Hold. I'm gonna make a very, very, very old school kind of kick. We're already really close. Yep. I like that. So this is pretty cool. Also, this is how I create my kick effects. And the way you can make it a little bit more interesting. You can play around with this one right here, this bad boy right here. You can tweak it and create an automation clip, and then you can play around with and create like kind of kick effects. This is a way I teach my students how to make kick effects too. It's very similar. You can do it like that. You can create kick effects like that, or you can use it as a kick, and you can say, okay, I want this kick, or this kick. And then over here, you can do it like higher. That's how you create those kind of old school, still Gabber-ish kicks that were used in so long ago, not even before the zeros. It's really old. All right, now let's move on to a more Millennium hardcore kick. I will open up Serum. I'm gonna break it down. I'm not gonna do it completely from scratch. It's gonna take me too long for this tutorial. I'm gonna break it down how I did it. Right, Millennium hardcore kick. Where are you? This one. Let's see. Sometimes it's on the master. I put all the FX on the master. That's not really smart. Let's move that. By the way, guys, if you click drag, you can just duplicate your presets. You are very welcome. All right, how does this one sound without any FX? Really that old school sound, right? Completely out of Serum, no FX. So that's possible. Okay, so what are we looking at? All right, we're looking at, I'm gonna break it down for you. Okay, step by step. What do we have? We have 3 oscillators. Oscillators. I swore to myself never to say that again. All right. This is an even better Gabber kick right off the bat. But it's because of all the effects that are being processed in Serum. Obviously, this took me a little longer. The other ones were a little bit fast. This one, I sat down and I perfected it. And this is also included in the Uptempo Hardcore Program, how to create this kick step by step. Obviously, I think I have like 13 lessons now. I think I'm kind of done with the kick lessons. Okay, so what is going on here? All right, let's break it down. FX, what do we have? Stereo splitter. Looks complicated, but I'm telling you, it is not. This is the sound where you start off with, right? Same kind of stuff that we did in the first kick. Let me turn it up a little bit. Really that punch to it, that basic kick with a punch to it. Okay, now this is oscillator A. It's just an oscillator. Nothing has changed. The wavetable hasn't changed. Just the randomization is off. Just oscillator A. But what is on oscillator A? Okay, let's go step by step. Oscillator A. Absolutely nothing except the main tuning again. So the pitch, the total pitch for everything is on oscillator, LFO6. So this is the punch. And this punch is, this is the amount of rate. The other one I used BPM. Doesn't matter. Same shit. But this one has more flexibility. So you can determine how fast the signal, how fast the LFO is spinning. So how fast the punch is gonna sound. Okay, so that's it. That's it. That's everything for oscillator A. Right, oscillator B. This creates that reverse effect that you're looking for in Millennium hardcore kicks, but also in like new style mainstream hardcore kicks. All right, so oscillator B is just a wavetable, a different wavetable, pitched up 1 octave. A little bit of detune, don't ask me why. Why? I said I don't ask. Okay, moving on. Oscillator B is, the level is on LFO2, and we have a level 3, and we have a level 4. Okay, let's see what's happening. You see it changing here, right? Opens up, closes down, opens up. This creates movement, because when I turn this down, nothing is happening. So this one is probably on the volume. Yes, destination B and C level. So this one. So this is the volume. It's opening, closing. So opening, closing. So this is on, off, on, off, on. That's how you have to see it. So this is for the volume. Okay, oscillator 3. Not sure what this does. It's fully open. This is the WT position. That's not changing anything. I think I turned that off later in the game. Yeah, so the WT position changes the wavetable. So that means you can change this the wavetable during when it's playing. So that creates dynamic because the sound is changing. Maybe this sounds really good, but I decided just to fully blast it open for some reason. Well, we'll see. We can look at it. Okay, and then we had, what else do we had? LFO4. Okay, LFO4 is also kind of reverse effect. LFO4 is on the filter 1 drive and the B warp. So that means not only is the wavetable position is changing on LFO3, but also the, what did I just say? The warp. What is the warp? This is the warp. The warp is same as WT position, but the WT position, the wavetable position, changes where the wavetable starts, so where the sound starts. And when you change that, obviously, it sounds different because it starts somewhere different in the signal. And the warp transforms the signal. So look at it. They're both moving. So we have the position changing and we have the warp changing. I like to use sync. So this is what warp does. Look, this is what warp does. It changes the amount of speed, in this case, the sync button. So yeah, fuck around with that until you find the sweet spot. So that's it for oscillator B. Then we go to C. What did C have? Let us see. LFO2 on the level again. Okay, only on the level. So it's just controlled with the level. Okay, that's fair. Only. And there's a little bit of detune going on. I feel it's a little bit too much. I would also just use 2 unison and 0.1. Just small stereo effect. Right, and then we have noise. That does nothing. And we have a filter. That does a lot. Okay, we'll dive into that. Filter. What does the filter do? Well, this is the comb filter. I like to play with the comb filter. You can... it's like a flanger effect. But overall, it sounds very mild because all the effects are off. So let's talk about the FX on this Millennium hardcore kick. Okay. Okay, I feel like whatever I did here now kind of messed it up. Let's see if we can undo that. What do we do again? Is it this? Not bad. Okay, let's break it down. This equalizer is off, so let's turn that off, shall we? All right, this is the classic EQ boost before the distortion. So find a peak that you like. This is not old school. This is Peep hardcore. The hyper dimension adds stereo field to it. Be careful with it. I'm still not sure what the right settings are in hyper. But yeah, this is how you exaggerate this is how it sounds when you exaggerate it. Honestly, just find a sweet spot that you really like. I like this. It's very boomy. Okay, after that, EQ boost, hyper dimension, and the distortion. I usually take 0 square, blast it all the way open. Same for fast distortion. I don't really give a shit. Compressor. Honestly, I was just tweaking the bands here to compensate a little bit. You can choose that over here, single, multi-band, and just add a little bit of high end and low end. That's what I did. I feel like it's way too boomy though, but we're not talking about the mix down right now. That's for another lesson. And then equalizer to do a little dip here. By the dip. Not sure if this is effective dip. Sure. After that, mono stereo side cut, stereo side cut. I would always prefer not to do it in Serum anymore, just because I don't know what's happening, and with FabFilter you could just see everything 10 times better. Okay. I think the audio was a little bit loud. I turned it down. Anyway, any hoozle bamboozle. Okay, so that is it for the hardcore, Millennium hardcore. Did I forget something? No. Filter, matrix. We talked about the warp, WT position, the drive. Not doing anything. The EQ. Oh, let's see about that. Yeah, so this EQ is moving. It's on an LFO. It is on LFO 4. So that means that the punch, this punch right here, is going up. And if you enhance that effect, well, that's not really fair because it's also linked to other LFOs. So basically what this does is it throws the peak up and down like dynamic every time the kick plays, bomb, bomb, bomb. And the way why I did it is because through that way you can shape the punch better. So this one indicates how your punch is going to sound. And with the gain is on the automation on the LFO, so you're controlling how much the peak is going to jump up or down. Pretty sick kick, if you ask me. All right, let's crank up the BPM and let's move to Uptempo. Now, for the bounce Uptempo kick, this is a little bit different. Straight out of Serum, it sounds very similar to all the other kicks that we made. Not much going on, just a sub oscillator, oscillator A for the punch, and oscillator B for the reverse. And here's the reverse for LFO 2. So that's it. If we look at the matrix, just the main tuning for the pitch again, for the punch in the kick, and then we have A level, B level for the amount of volume for both oscillators. And then we have the FX volume. It's bouncing a little bit. Okay, obviously this is not the bounce kick. This magic happens in the chain. Listen to this. Some lacquer faces. All right, so let me explain to you this chain. This might look a little bit complicated, and it is, but not if you know what you do, obviously. Okay, let me break it down for you. So everything without FX, it sounds like this, right? Same stuff, same shit. This is technically same stuff that we have been doing for Millennium hardcore of the old school, but a little bit more sophisticated and a little bit more extreme. All right, we're starting off with some corrections. You can... Usually the corrections happen when you finish the kick and you go back for fine tuning. So this is not the first step. This, however, is the first step. Finding the very aggressive EQ boost. And literally this is plus 30 dB and it goes all the way to oblivion. You find a peak that you like. Let me just, for the sake of this tutorial, I'm not sure how it will sound. Yeah, okay, so you get a little bit of a understanding which peak you're gonna find, right, with the Uptempo kick. But now we need to distort it better and give it a little bit of movement. So paramedic EQ2 boosted a little bit, and some corrections here. Why the corrections and why doesn't it make any sense? Because if you tweak these corrections, the sound of the kick will always be different, no matter what you do. So listen to this. Let's turn on everything. Now watch me tweak a little bit on the bass. If you ever dreamed of playing at DEF CON 1, trust me, It's possible. I've played there 4 times, and I just dropped a free roadmap to help you and other producers make that same journey. It's called The Road to DEFCON 1, a 12-month game plan that covers basically everything from releasing your first track, building your brand, to getting noticed by labels and promoters. You can download the preview for free, and if you're really serious about leveling up, there's also a 25% discount of one of my producer programs. Only for a limited time though. And if you want to check out what the community is really like, we just launched a free 7-day trial for the membership. And that means access to weekly feedback sessions, demo streams, sample packs, and over 650 active producers just like you sharing their knowledge. No catch, just try to see it out for yourself. And you'll find the link in the description as well. You have to find a sweet spot that you really like. I like a little bit of grain to it. Maybe over here if I twist this. Maybe you like this a lot. It's very important if you shift the frequencies that, well, not what you know what you're doing, just fuck around and you will find out. That's literally music production. Fuck around and find out. Damn, I really like this kick. Oh, damn, okay. If only this was available to download for free in the free lessons. So yeah, there's that. And okay, well, the magic in this one happens in filter bank. We have a phaser. You can also mess around with the phaser. It phases the Serum 2. But the magic happens in filter bank. And I gotta be honest with you, I don't really know what the settings were or what I changed. I just turned the knobs until it sounds right. So feel free to take these knobs and feel free to experiment it with yourself. Let's see if this works. If we replace this with a fast distortion, I don't think it will be the same sound, but let's see. Okay. Nah, it's not bad, but it's not what you're looking for. The filter bank just has a little bit more sophisticated and better distortion for this regard. Okay, what's important after the filter bank is the G gate, because if you play, and this is probably going to hurt the ears. Oh, no, right now? Okay. Well, it's still playing. Look at this. It's still playing. The filter bank adds sustain, decay, a little bit of a distortion signal to it, and you need to cut that off with the G gate, because if you're gonna put more distortion to it, I think now if I turn the G gate off, I hear the ringing. Oh, I'm like, is that outside? Yeah, it adds like an echo reverb to it. You want to get rid of that with the G gate. It's a free plugin, and feel free to take these settings. After that, a little bit of volume correction, wider if you will, if you would like to have it a little bit more of stereo sound. Also, you can do that in Serum 2 by putting the detune on 2 unisons. I don't recommend this. And looking at this, I don't recommend it, because this indicates that you're gonna stereo enhance the low end too, and that is not good. So let's not do it. Just do it in Serum. Add a unison to it, detune a little bit. Okay. And then another balancer, or we talked about that already. Some corrections for the final corrections. You know, a kick should be flat, not too crazy frequencies. Add some low end if you will, because low end dissolves in distortion. And a soft clipper to make sure it doesn't surpass the decibel signals too much. And yeah, then again, the most important one for this chain is this one right here. And you can select all of these, put it together, and then move it around. I really like that grainy to it. That wasn't when I loaded up this preset that I made, it wasn't this grainy. So it's because I changed the frequency in this one right here. That's pretty cool. Minor change, big effect. Nice, that sounds really good. Okay, can we make more noise? Yeah, I think so. Let's go to the next kick. A Frenchcore kick. Let's try Frenchcore. All right, clone it. Frenchcore. All right. Safa? Safa! Not bad, not bad. I'm not happy with the punch. Let's see if there's another preset that I have. This is Frenchcore. Okay, so what's happening here? Nothing in the FX this time. We could just go back and forth, left and right. Doesn't matter if you do it in Serum or you do it in the chain. Okay, without any FX, it sounds like, you guessed it, the same as all the other kicks, but with a very strong punch. So that will mean that the punch, which one is the punch? This one is on 1.2 hertz. Okay. Okay. Find the sweet spot. Okay, so we have oscillator A. See, now that we're gonna do this again, you have a better understanding, hopefully, how Serum 2 works, because the setup is almost always the same. It's just finding the right oscillators, adding some reverse to it, finding the right distortion, EQ boost. That's it. Comes down, all these hardcore uptempo kicks, it's all the same shit. It's all the same shit, just a little bit different. You have to know how to create that punchy effect on a Frenchcore kick for this example, like this example. Okay, so we have oscillator A. It's the bass, obviously. We have B. It's a little bit of punch. Maybe a little bit too much detune now I'm listening to it. Yeah, there's too much detune going on. That would indicate the sync or the yeah, I think it's the sync, so it's level 4. It's too much. Yeah. Okay, now it's straight. So it was a little off pitch. Okay, so there's a WT position on LFO3. So this changes not. Again, it does not. It's just full open. That's fine. This one changes though. You can do it like this, but I like it this. Pitches up an octave, I think. Okay, there's that. Oscillator C. Same shit. A little bit, these two go hand in hand, I think. Yeah. So these two complement each other. So 2 sounds better than 1. Okay, fine. And was there a filter on? I don't think so. All right, this is how it sounds straight out of the bat without any FX, right? Okay, now let's turn on the FX. All right, what I did here is EQ boost and a cut. That changes the phasing of the sound of Serum. What does that mean? It changes the way the waveform is formed. So it changes the sound of the waveform. Damn, I don't know how to say it correctly. So yeah, it changes the shape of the waveform. Thank you. Thank you to who? To yourself? Yes. Okay, thanks. Anyway, and then after that, we do an EQ boost. So we have a boost here, a cut here, and then I'm correcting it here again. Don't ask me why. I just fuck around and find out, okay? Sometimes it works and then it doesn't. Hypersaw, hyperdimension, sorry. Hypersaw something different. Hyperdimension for the stereo effect. And then distortion. Yeah, compressore. Compressore on multiband with the corrections again. Equalizer. This preset is very similar to the Millennium Hardcore kick. I would say, argue it's like 80% the same. Splitter, mid, side EQs. We talked about that, removing the stereo field, right? Okay, let's make this a little bit better. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Is it the filter? that's cool. Kick effects though. Okay, not bad. But I'm missing that punch that we had. Not sure what I changed. Let's go back. I have no idea what I changed. Anyway, this sounds way better. And what else do we have? Mix. So equalizer. Oh, okay. So the first equalizer was off. That's why it sounds different. Okay. Then remove it, Steven. Okay. Yes. Got it. Okay. That's why it sounded different. Okay. Matrix. What else do we have? We have a level 4 on the filter drive. Okay. That's fine. But the filter is off. So that's does not. Okay. That's not working anymore. Main tuning. Oscillator 1. This doesn't seem to work. The amount is off. Okay. WT position, warp. Like I said, guys, it's always the same formula. It's warping the oscillators to create that movement, right? And the warping here, and even the WT position for the wavetable position. These two change the dynamic in your kick, so it makes it less flat. If I turn that off, let's see. This sounds cool too, to be honest with you. But this gives a little bit more drive to it. So with the WT position and the sync in an LFO, you can create more dynamic and a little bit more interesting kicks, especially for the reverse part. All right. Now, what should we do next? Well, I know what we're going to do next. We're going to make Peepkicks. Forgive me if this is not the best peep kick. I tried my best. I usually don't make them that much. But guess what? It is all the same again. But this time you go a little bit more crazy with the peaks. Let me show you. The peep kick sounds without FX. If you can hear it. Like any other Serum that we worked in, right? Same shit. Everything's the same. But now we're working with sub and oscillator A. Fine. Literally the main tuning and the A level. Now, the real magic happens in the EQ boost. Slight EQ boost. Yep, that's the peak we're going for. And then after that, we... I don't know what this one does. I forgot. Some corrections probably. And then the distortion. Well, there you have kind of a peep kick already. All right, next one is low end boost, because we need to add a little bit low end after the distortion. And then the wave shaper for, you know, the shaping of the wave. And then after that, we have some corrections because I was looking at the span and it looked totally horrific. Anyway, this is the peep kick that I made. And you can also select a different key. This one. And then find another peak. So yeah, same stuff as, this is similar as the bounce up tempo kick, but the EQ boost is what's going to give you that peep, the peep kick and the peep in your ears. So that's 2 in 1. That's great. All right, and God dang it, it's beautiful. But we're gonna move on to something a little bit more extreme. What is more extreme than a peep kick? Well, you guessed it right. Deutsche Krach, aka microwave kicks. Okay, microwave. And it sounds something like that. or just one big layer. That's what usually the case, right? Just one big layer. Different peak. Yeah, it's pretty extreme. Deutsche kicks, microwave kicks. Let's call them whatever. It's a little bit different. The power lays in oscillator A. If you tweak this, you can make the really long, I believe it's even like sometimes 4 bar. And the W, we talked a lot about the WT position, the wavetable position, and the sync. So the only difference between this and all the other kicks is that this is just one wall of bass. So nothing is happening in the punch. The only thing that is happening is the movement of oscillator A. So if you listen to it without any effects, that's sick. So this is what creates that movement right here. That's literally this one, the level of this one. If I turn this off, it sounds like this. Just a mosquito. We want the mosquito to fly and come back, fly and come back. Right. And for the actual FX, we're going to do a reverb 2 for stereo separation. It's a little bit outdated method in my opinion. You could just put this one on D2 and 1. That's enough. So let's delete this. Low end boost. Because yeah, why not? And Pro Q3, this is the peaks again, and then the wave shaper does all the magic. God damn. I mean, that's some quality microwave kicks. I'll tell you that. Don't forget to put a soft clipper behind that. So yeah, there you have it, Deutsche Krach or microwave kicks. I already dedicated a whole tutorial about this on my YouTube channel. It's right here. Yeah, I hope I pointed that out, and if not, I also don't care. So that's it. The Deutsche Krach, the microwave kicks are the easiest because it's a wall of bass. You just have to adjust LFO1 to give that movement a little bit and fight the right peaks and distort the shit out of it, and that's it. Deutsche Krach microwave kicks are the easiest kicks to make. You can do it within 2 minutes. The hardest kicks, I would say, are the hardcore kicks, because if you do everything in one layer, it's kind of hard because you want to do the punch, the bass, and the crunch. That's kind of hard to do in one layer. You can do it. I'm not sure if I pointed that out, but the noise here, you can, for example, let's turn this off. You can use a punch, your own punch, in here. So if you're making a hardcore kick, you can just literally, if you have a good punch and you feel like, hey, this is too much work to also find a good punch, then load up your punch in here and just blend it together with whatever you're making. All right, that's it for this tutorial. I had a lot of fun doing this. I'm definitely gonna make an appointment with the hearing specialist because I can't hear anything anymore. But that doesn't matter, right? I hope you learned something today. It was a fun class, and then again, if you want to learn more about music production, and if you want to experience the full ultimate experience, check out the links in the description, because I'm offering the ultimate hardstyle producer program and of course Uptempo and Hardcore Producer Program, where this and way more is all included in the program. And on top of that, you'll get access to the most amazing Discord community on the planet for hardstyle, uptempo, and hardcore music productions. That's it for this lesson. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next week.